Hello students, welcome back. We are in Geology lesson number 28. And today we are going to talk about petroleum. Petroleum is the largest energy source on Earth. Pretty much runs the show right now. It is a non-renewable fossil fuel that has been made from fossilized remains of plants, algae, and bacteria. And over millions of years, it was packed down, pressurized, and heated, and formed the non-renewable fossil fuel we know today as petroleum. Now, petroleum is a general term. It is actually made of three parts. The part that is gas is called natural gas. So natural gas is really petroleum, made from petroleum. The liquid part is called crude oil, and the solid part is called bitumen, and that makes asphalt. So petroleum itself is a general term. Usually when we think of petroleum, we are thinking about crude oil, though. 50% of crude oil is actually used to make fuel, for gasoline or diesel fuel. Petroleum is found in what are called oil reserves all across the world. And these oil reserves are formed when the petroleum gets trapped underground. So petroleum, if it's in the liquid state, it can just go through the cracks of rocks, if the rocks are porous, until it comes to non-porous rock where it can't pass through. So that forms a trap. So the petroleum is trapped underground. That's called a petroleum reserve. And when we drill for oil, we locate those reserves so we know where to drill and extract that petroleum. We use satellite imagery to find out where these reserves are, so we don't just go drill anywhere. The United States consumes more oil than any other country. In fact, every day the United States consumes 20.5 million barrels of crude oil per day. 20.5 million barrels per day in the United States. So 1 barrel is 42 gallons. It amounts to about 2.5 gallons per person per day. The extraction process is different than the mining. So this is drilling. They use what's called an oil rig that has a driller and a pump. So it'll drill a hole down till it reaches the reserve, and it'll pump the oil up. Offshore drilling, so that is drilling that's not on land directly, uses what are called oil platforms. These offshore drilling platforms are some of the largest man-made structures on Earth.
Fracking is a process of extracting oil and gas by creating cracks in bedrock. And here's a picture of the old way of drilling, or the more traditional way, similar to a jelly donut. So it's a vertical penetration into the earth, extracting the oil. The new way of drilling is more like layered cake, similar to a bending straw and a layer of cake. Hydraulic fracturing or fracking is a method of extracting oil and gas from the earth in areas that are inaccessible by traditional drilling. So the first step is to create a well, and the well will go down, can be up to 10,000 feet, and it goes down and then it bends like a bendy straw. It goes horizontally, and there is a perforating gun that is used that creates these fissures cracks to form in the rock. And this can take up to days. So this is the fracturing part of the process. So once these fractures are made, this pressurized fracking fluid is pumped into the wells, and it gets into these small cracks in the rock, and it pushes the natural gas and oil out of the cracks and up into the well, along with this chemical cocktail of fracking fluid. And here is a picture of fracking fluid and the chemicals that are found inside the fracking fluid, which include sodium chloride, ethylene glycol, borate salts, sodium, potassium carbonate, isopropanol. Once the natural gas and oil is collected, it is sent to a refinery for processing. The problem with fracking is that it can contaminate our groundwater because these wells can leak. And if they leak, they can leak into the aquifers, the stored water underground where we get our drinking water from. And it is also thought that this hydraulic fracturing or fracking can lead to an increase in seismic activity in the form of earthquakes. So there are some severe environmental problems with the use of fracking. And this is why it's very controversial.
The process that's used in petroleum is called fractional distillation. So that crude oil that has been extracted from the earth is collected
And boiled.
The boiling point is the temperature at which something boils. So the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So whenever something converts from a liquid to a gas, that is the boiling point, whatever temperature that is. And it's different for all different things. Since petroleum is made of a lot of different hydrocarbons, remember hydrocarbons are made of hydrogen carbon. So when to boil the petroleum, it gets separated. So the things that have the lowest boiling point are going to boil first. So if it doesn't take much heat to boil, it's going to boil first. And those things, when they boil, then they're going to form vapor. And that vapor, or gas, right? So then the gas is going to go up this column, and as it goes up, it cools off. And when it cools off, then the gas is going to go back to a liquid state. So condensation, gas to liquid. And then it's separated. So if it's the first thing to boil, it's going to form the gas first. It's going to go all the way up to the top. It's going to evaporate first. And it's going to be collected heat even more. The next part that has the next boiling point is going to go up. When you reach that, temperature goes up. And eventually you separate the parts of petroleum by their boiling points. So each part then is called a fraction. So that's why it's called fractional distillation. Because a fraction is a part of a whole.